I've been waiting a long time to talk about Jak and Daxter, but I never had much to contribute to the conversation other than endless gushing. Jak and Daxter is so ingrained into my history that you're not going to find any subjective retrospective from me. But now I have a new angle to approach it from. Jak and Daxter's PC version. You haven't heard of this? It's not official, but the quality might as well be. You see, some genius fans came together to dive into the impossible code of the original Jak 1 PS2 version. They painstakingly reverse engineered it and created a complete fan-made PC version with crisp resolutions, higher frame rates, and yes, even mod support. Look, obviously I'm not a gaming programmer, but I'm trying and failing to display how monumental this task was. From what I understand, Jak and Daxter had a very custom code that no one but the original Naughty Dog team who created it understood. So as far as I'm concerned, these fans are magicians. They've released Jak 2 in beta, but I did a full playthrough of that recently, and aside from some small visual bugs in the last few missions, it played so smoothly that it felt like I experienced it in the way it was meant to be played back then. Jak 3 is in development, but they've made so much progress already. But there is another impossible feat that I want to draw your attention to. It's a mod called Team Runs, which allows you to play Jak and Daxter in multiplayer. Fellas, I'm telling you, I did a full playthrough with a friend who hadn't played the series before, and I had the time of my goddamn life. It works so much better than you expect. The only real problems I had were some boss fights that desynced if one player dies, but it's still so much fun. Jak and Daxter and multiplayer are a combination of words I didn't expect to hear in my lifetime. It presents so many opportunities for comedy gold because this mod also changes the cutscenes so that they now perform in real time, which means the second player can be in the background while the characters are doing their thing. I was crying with laughter for half the playthrough. However, as fun and silly as that sounds, playing multiplayer with a person who hadn't played the series before gave me so much more appreciation for just how unique every element of this game is. This is my second most played game of all time. If my playtime was recorded back then, it would likely reach the 10,000 hour mark. I had become so used to the mechanics, the world, the visuals, and the secrets. I became so desensitized that I can pretty much play the game on autopilot and do an easy speedrun with no challenge. And I ain't the speedrunning type. There are many things in the game that I, and so many other fans, take for granted. The world is completely seamless, without a shred of loading screens. You can pretty much see every level of the game from a high vantage point, making everything feel interconnected. It played at 60 FPS on a PS2, and yet, despite a few rough edges on the models, the game's visual style is timeless. In this multiplayer mod, one player could be at the beginning of the game, and the other at the end, and you can play simultaneously, without issue. Well, keep in mind I only did this with one other player. I don't know what kind of chaos can emerge if you try more than that. I saw a multiplayer playthrough where the guys went up to 5 players. It's sheer insanity. While the game is light on story, it's an effective yet simple plot, the mechanics are incredibly satisfying. If you ever look up speedruns from the elites, Jak's movement is sheer poetry in motion. A lot of the credit needs to go to the animation team for this one. Without these super satisfying animations, these gameplay mechanics wouldn't hit as much. Need I remind you that this game came out in 2001? The power of a well put together platformer is not to be understated. It will outlast most games from the early 2000s. This game takes a different approach to music than usual. It's not about recurring themes with emphasis placed on motifs or musical storytelling. It's completely gameplay focused, building an atmosphere and ramping up intensity based on the player's current activity, which means it often blends into the background, but that doesn't mean it's pointless or filler for the ears. Quite the opposite, in fact. The music is so ingrained into the DNA of the level it's a part of that you subconsciously become more immersed into the gameplay. I didn't realize how important a role that music played until revisiting the game as an adult. It really is excellent. When it's so long between playthroughs that I might be forgetting some areas or how to beat certain enemies, the music kicks in and causes an influx of memories. Suddenly I know exactly what to do. I do think Jak 2 does way more interesting things with the music, but that's a video for another day. Jak 2 is my favourite of the trilogy, but Jak and Daxter is the one I've played the most, and it ain't even close. To some, Jak and Daxter is a black sheep in a platformer-dominated era. To others like me, who are incredibly fortunate to grow up with the game and its sequels, it is a beautiful amalgamation of influences, wrapped up in a technical marvel. This fan-made PC version shares a similar feat by bringing this game to life in a way emulation fell short of. It's simply the best way to play the game, which I'm grateful for because it's likely The Last of Us Part 3 will have released and have been remade twice before Sony remembers to do anything with the Jak series. Thanks to this PC version and the multiplayer mod, it was the first replay of this game where I felt a new sense of discovery and wonder. If you've got a PC and a legal copy of Jak and Daxter, you owe it to yourself to play the PC version and try out the multiplayer mod with a friend if possible. That's all I've got for today. Ciao for now.